Hey guys, Tony George, DocSports.com. A big snafu today on my Tuesday Happy Hour podcast, which me and Mrs. George cannot figure out, or is it Mrs. George and I cannot figure out why it would not broadcast live. We'll work on that and be back up next week with a Tuesday morning happy hour. Still happy hour. I'm not supposed to slurp my drink, but I do anyway because I'm uncouth and I'm a male. My wife doesn't like it. Nonetheless, let's go over your NFL opening report, line report here today. I'll run through this briefly with you. I'll put this up. This will have to suffice for my podcast this week here from the George compound here in Las Vegas. And last night, obviously, we got a win with the Houston Texans, although started out 10 to nothing against them. I was a little concerned about that, but a good week in the NFL and not a great week, a bad week in college football. You know, some years, just touch on college football, people know I'm 100% transparent. It's not been my year in college football. Just hadn't been my year. You have those years. I had a great year in the NBA last year. I had a great year in Major League Baseball, having a decent year this year in the NBA. I have a big play here on Tuesday. And won my last 5 cards in a row. Or college basketball, a little bit of a slump, but college basketball is very cyclical. You go through spells where you'll have 2 or 4 days where you tank on everything and then you just go on a huge run. But nonetheless, championship football this weekend in college football, and the only piece of advice I'm going to give you is there's no team playing in a championship game this weekend starting on Friday with the MAC championship between Buffalo and Northern Illinois. There's no team playing in any of these games, including Pitt, including Northwestern, Memphis. You go down some of the underdogs in these games. There's no team that's there by accident. They earn their way there. You know? Laying big points is always dangerous. I can't take 25 with Pitt, but I sure as hell can't lay it with Clemson. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to your opening line report. And these are just initial reactions. These aren't picks. These are just initial reactions to the lines that came out in the NFL. The current lines are Thursday Night Football, going to be a good one. New Orleans at Dallas. One thing about New Orleans, they're laying 7 in this game. 7.5 in some spots. It's dropping. You're going to have sharp money on Dallas because they're at home. I'm not sold on Dallas, but I am sold on New Orleans being the best team in the NFL. And every week, you're constantly asking yourself, is this the week they trip and fall? Is this the week they don't bring it? They bring it every week. Drew Brees is having a record year. If he's not the MVP of the league, I don't know what's the matter with you. But at the end of the day, they got a defense that's shutting people down. You can't run on them. They got a quarterback that has a dual threat running team. Tandem between Ingram and Kamara. Great wide receivers, good tight end, and the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And Dallas, you beat up a couple of weak sisters. Okay. What if they can't run Elliott against that defense? What are they going to do? Totals 51.5 opened up to 53. People like the over. Might be an overplay. Colts at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a dumpster fire and everybody's fawning all over the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck. They got lucky and beat Miami this weekend. I had Miami. It'd be interesting to see if they can close out a game. Cody Kessler starts for Jacksonville. Total 47.5. Colts laying 4. I don't like laying 4 on the road, the 6-5 team, but might want to sniff that under 47.5. LA Chargers taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at home laying 3.5. Total 51.5. 2 weeks ago, I had Phillip Rivers for my life against Denver, and he threw for almost 500 yards. They didn't win. They beat up on Arizona, and everybody's high on them again. Pittsburgh off a loss. Come on. Come on. At home. Couple of good quarterbacks going at it. I think there'll be a lot of points scored in that game is what I think. Might want to sniff the over there. Carolina, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Winston had a good week last week. Carolina opened up at 3.5. Total at 56.5, 56 in some spots. Let me have a drink on that. Don't know on that one yet. Carolina lost 3 in a row here. Tampa Bay ain't all that. That defense isn't any good. McCaffrey's going to have a big day. I think Cam and them might get their act together this weekend. That's what I think. Baltimore at Atlanta. Baltimore -1 to a pick 'em in some spots. Atlanta, dumpster fire. Defensively bad. Both coordinators are on their way out the indoor. I'm not sure Quinn's going to be around. Probably will be. He's going to have to revamp that whole staff. They've got a lot of talent. Their defense is so depleted. And on the other side of the coin, everybody's high. Lamar Jackson, shades of when he was at Louisville. Well, before you get too excited about Baltimore, and I do like their defense in this matchup, the better defense here, at less than a field goal, probably the way to look. But bear in mind, when you get real excited about Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson in there, he's not a great thrower of the football yet. And the 2 teams he beat are a reeling Cincinnati team and the pathetic Raiders. Don't get overly excited yet. You only lean Ravens there. Cleveland and Houston. Houston, short week, laying 6. Browns got nothing to play for but pride and next year, and they got nothing to lose. Cleveland's got talent all over the field. I mean, have no illusions. They do. Just got to get it together. They have the right head coach in there right now, starting from day one. They might be an 8-win team. I think 6 too many. That's my opinion. Miami, Buffalo. Miami laying 5.5 off a loss. I had them. They covered. Total 40.5. Buffalo catching 5.5. It's 5.5 everywhere in town, but CG and MGM. Everywhere else, it's 5.5. I think the smart money is going to go on Buffalo. Giants, Chicago. Trubisky still up in the air. Probably going to play. Laying 4.5. New York Giants, an absolute positive dumpster fire. And I don't know how effective Saquon Barkley's going to be against that defense of Chicago, because it's for real. I know they're going to make Eli Manning look like a washed-up veteran, which he's not helping himself anyway. Hard to lay 4.5 on the road with anybody in this league. Home underdogs are covering at almost 58% this year in the NFL. You got to take a strong look at home underdogs every week because they're hitting almost 6 out of 10 times. Although that's a tough pill to swallow. And they'll be okay under Chase Daniel if he plays too. Denver at Cincinnati. Denver laying 4.5. Hot team. Denver just got done beating the two of the best teams in the league. Cincinnati, Dalton's probably not going to play. Marvin Lewis, if they don't show him the exit door this year, they're crazy. I could only lay it. I couldn't take it. But again, home underdogs, A.J. Green's out too. If A.J. Green and Dalton are both out, get all over Denver. They'll blow them up. Rams at Detroit, laying 10 on the road. I don't lay double digits in the NFL. Rams will make a great teaser play here. If Detroit cannot protect the quarterback against Darnold and Sue and that defense, it's going to be a long day for Detroit. Be a great front end of a teaser, though, teasing them, getting them off 7 and 6, and getting them down to -4. Arizona, Green Bay laying 14. I have no interest in that. Green Bay's not a good football team. Green Bay is Aaron Rodgers and a bunch of misfits. Cobb's still out. Running game so-so. Receiver core is stretched thin. Decent tight end in Graham, but and they'll beat Arizona. But I'm not laying 14 with a bad football team. They had a losing record. They're laying 14. Would you see that in the NFL? Ever? Kansas City, Oakland. Kansas City laying 15 on the road. I have no interest in that. Not even in a teaser. Oakland is a bad football team. Bad. Dysfunctional. He's stripping that thing down. He got rid of Cooper and Mack. I would have done anything to keep Khalil. I would have stopped construction on the stadium here in Las Vegas to keep Khalil Mack. But that being said, it is what it is. Kansas City should beat them by 3 touchdowns. But I'm not laying 15 points on the road with any NFL team. Stay away game for me. 56.5. Kansas City will have 45 in that game. Can Oakland score against Kansas City's defense? Yeah. So 55.5, probably worth a look. Jets, Tennessee. Tennessee laying 9. I want no interest in Tennessee laying 9 to anybody on a short week after a bad ass kicking on TV. Thank you, Texans. That thing dropped all the way down to 3.5. I bet him again. 5.5, 6, and then 3.5. Boom. I don't know though. Tennessee should get all over the Jets there, but stranger things have happened. I have no interest in that game. Minnesota, New England, great football game. Here's the other half of your teaser. Take Minnesota and get them up to +12 with the Rams going down to -4. There's your pre-week NFL free teaser. Won a big teaser this weekend too. So, time of year to start playing teasers. Things get a little tighter this time of year too for a lot of teams. San Francisco, Seattle. Seattle laying 10 to San Fran, who had 9 points against Tampa Bay's defense. Back-to-back roadies from Tampa Bay up to Seattle. Seattle will probably wax them, but I'm not laying 10. You can catch 9.5 at MGM right now, but it'll be up there. I don't know. Washington, Philadelphia on Monday night. That game's got a lot on the line, ladies and gentlemen. A lot on the line. Little windage. 6.5, 7 right now at MGM. This is Tuesday morning. No, 7 at the Wynn and 6.5 everywhere else across the board, including offshore. You know, losing Alex Smith is kind of a big deal, but you got extra time to prepare because you played on Thanksgiving. McCoy is not that bad of a quarterback. There's a lot worse backup quarterbacks in the NFL than McCoy. Philadelphia, grabbed victory from the jaws of defeat this week just because they played a really bad team. Philadelphia's still not clicking. They've got defensive injuries all over the place. This is for a lot on the line here. That's too many points, in my opinion. That's your opening week line report. Tony George, DocSports.com. Sorry again for the happy hour podcast not going off live this week. We'll get that corrected and do it again next week. And be sure to get over to DocSports.com and get all your winners this upcoming weekend.